Oh, Gemini Star Spiritual Wellness. I wanted to come on today and do a quick video talking about the Hermetic Principles and what they are. There's seven of them, and I wanted to quickly go through them with you. I did mention one in the previous video, number 3, that talks about energy, vibration, and frequency, but I thought it would be good to cover all seven of them because they're really wise and they really are quite fascinating. So I just wanted to bring your attention to it. So his name was Hermanus, and I'm probably not going to say this right, but Hermanus Trigomagus. And he was, or Trimagus, I'm not quite sure how to say his last name, but he was a famous philosopher, and he's famous for his ancient teachings and spiritual philosophy. This was written back in first century AD, so we're talking a long time ago. And he is believed to have written the Emerald Tablet in Corpus Herculum, and the Greeks and the Egyptians adopted him as the god of wisdom, is what they called him. So he came up with seven interesting principles that go along with spiritual philosophy. So I wanted to share those with you. So the number one philosophy number one principle, I'm sorry, number one principle of mentalism. And I'm going to read this to you and we'll break it down. It says, the universe is akin to mental projection, using our thoughts to shape our reality. God is consciousness or thought, and the universe is a manifestation of the mind of God. We can also harness the power of our minds to create the life we want. So that's a pretty deep concept that many people are not aware of, but is exactly true. So our reality is shaped by our consciousness and what we think about. So when you think about the whole planet, it's collective consciousness, everybody on the planet, and we're all contributing to the establishment of what we think is reality, when really it's just the togetherness of our thoughts are creating that reality. So what that tells us is we can change our reality by what we think. You can change it personally for yourself, as individual consciousnness, you can change your reality for yourself as an individual. But then together with other people, which is extremely powerful when you start bringing all those consciousnesses together, then you create a brand new reality. And I think that's what we're seeing happening on the planet right now. We're seeing the changing of reality and a change in consciousness of the collective consciousness of everybody on the planet. So I really think that's a pretty intense, deep one, but I like it. And once again, that's something that we weren't taught about growing up, that we have that ability within us. And of course, that ability comes from, God and our divine spark, and that he gave us that ability to do that, with our consciousness. So very interesting. And one way you can control the manifestation and the mentalism is through you can different ways to think of positive thoughts or to be able to think about what one good way would be meditation. Meditation, just meditating on different thoughts on what you want to manifest and bring into your reality. And I think it's kind of a combination of manifesting through your meditation and thoughts. If you keep thinking that you want to bring this into your life or you want this to happen in your personal reality or, even on a global level, just keep thinking about it and just keep meditating on it and it will come to pass. Because one thing about energy is energy can be positive or negative. It doesn't know the difference really. So it's neutral. So if you're thinking positive thoughts like, I want my life to be this way and positive things, you're going to bring that into reality because the energy is like, oh, okay, that's what she wants. So we're going to bring that in for her. But it also works on the other end. If you are thinking negative thoughts all the time and you're always in a negative mindset and lower vibrational thoughts, you're going to bring lower vibrational things to your reality. You're going to bring negative things into your reality because that's where your mindset is. That's where your consciousness. And so the energy is like, oh, this must be what they want because this is what they're thinking about all the time. And they're super focused on in their mind. So we're going to bring that in because they don't understand that it's negative and it's not what you really want. So when you think about people who are like on a think negative all the time. The negative Nelly, they're always negative mindset. negative, 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 and then things keep happening to them that are negative. Well, that's because that's where their mindset is, that's where their consciousness is, and that's the type of energy that they're bringing in. Oh, touch my microphone there. All right, let's go on to principle of correspondence. So, principle of correspondence explains the many planes of existence. And these are just a quick little summary of these principles. You can definitely look into this more on a deeper level and do your own research, but I just wanted to introduce them to you with these videos. So, this one explains the different planes of existence, including those of the lower and higher vibrational frequencies and how we're connected. So, going back to what I talked about in the previous video about energy as vibration frequency, this just falls in line with that. So, different planes of existence. So, the different like 3D world, we'll say, is a lower density, lower frequency vibration than the fourth or fifth dimension would be. And we can go into those higher levels, those higher dimensions through our consciousness. So, as our vibration for ourselves, our physical body, but also all the spiritual body layers around us, as our vibration and frequency lifts, that's how you get into those higher planes of existence, those higher dimensions. So it's not so much as you're just, you poof, you get sucked into your physical body gets moved to a different plane, you disappear, you're there. It's more like it's a consciousness where you're shifting up through your consciousness and you're bringing that because those planes of existence are already there. So those higher dimensions are already there all around us, but we can't tap into them because we're at a lower level of vibration frequency in the 3D world. But as we lift up, we'll tap into it. Then we'll go into the fourth dimension. And then we'll be there for a while. And then we continue to rise. We go into the fifth dimension. So they already exist. We're just getting to a point where we can actually access them through our vibrational level and our frequency, which is quite fascinating. And we all are interconnected together. That is true. So basically, like I said, what we hold in our thought and minds becomes our reality. And so this connects us to each other as a collective consciousness on the planet, but also to the world around us and into everything. So we're all interconnected. So through our thoughts and actions. So we're connected to everybody on the planet through our collective consciousness of thoughts and actions. But we're also would be connected to, the animal realm and the other living beings upon the earth. We're all interconnected with each other. And if it also this can help us to break patterns if we understand that we're all interconnected with each other and we're all one and we have that connection through our consciousness, we can break patterns that we see that are not desirable or negative and allow ourselves to get back on track and get to a higher harmony, and feel better in higher alignment. um, I talked about the principle of vibration in the earlier video, but if you missed it, I would suggest that you go back. That's the video I did before this one. And it is, I'll read it anyway, though. It's number 3, principle of vibration. So everything holds a vibration, physical matter, and spiritual energy. So when they say everything, it's everything. So we're talking about, animals, the planets, Mother Earth. So everything, crystals. I mean, everything has a vibration. Water. I mean, everything has the vibration and physical matter and spiritual energy to it. So atoms are in a constant motion as the universe is also in a constant motion. So they talk about how the universe is continually expanding and growing and new things are being, brought into existence. And it's a constant motion. It's constantly moving. And then our hearts give off a different vibration depending on how we are emotionally. How that and we can influence ourselves, our vibration through how we are emotionally. And I talked about that a minute ago about if you're constantly in a negative place, negative thoughts, negative mindset, you're going to keep yourself in the lower vibration. Same with like in your heart, if you have a lot of anger towards somebody or you're, a lot of sadness or upset towards something, that's gonna keep you at your heart at a lower vibration in frequency. But if you are full of love and light and you are looking at things from that perspective, that will help to, bring up the vibration of your heart, but as you as a person as well. So we have the power through our mind to control our vibration through our mind and through our consciousness, right? And think thoughts and do things that put you at ease. So So there's different things we can do to raise our vibration. I think what I just said to recognizing patterns is a big one because a lot of times we're programmed from childhood and indoctrinated with certain coping mechanisms or a certain way of handling things that happen in our life here on earth. And so after a while, as you age, those coping mechanisms become patterns. And they're part of our ego, which is designed to protect us and keep us safe. But the problem is it's too much ego and it can affect you in a negative way. So once you recognize those patterns and you realize, oh, this comes from when I was a kid and, and it takes a lot of conscious awareness to do this. And I think most people don't recognize patterns in their lifetime or they don't understand why they're triggered by things. And a lot of times it does come back to our childhood and experiences we have. And then you realize, oh, wait, I'm an adult now. I'm no longer in that situation, and then you can let go of those patterns and open up to more positive alignment. I'm going to go over one more and then I'm going to end the video and then do the next couple and the next rest of them. There's 7 of them. We'll end on 4 on this video and then I will do another video on the other ones because I don't want it to be too long because it's a lot of information coming at you at one time. So I want to be able to just be able to explain each principle, take my time and not have to rush through it. So we'll do that on another video, 5, 6, and 7. So I'm going to end on this one. But the principle of polarity. So opposite things are actually one and the same at varying degrees. So, everything has a different vibration and frequency to it. So they might seem opposite, but they're the same. They're just vibrating at a different level. And that's kind of interesting when you think about the collective consciousness, how that works. So, everyone's vibrating at a different level around the world. And so you might seem you're opposite from someone, but you're actually, you're the same. They're just vibrating differently than you are at that time. And what's interesting about energy and vibration is you will find yourself basically drawn to people who vibrate with you. And this is one thing I forgot to bring up in the last video, but I wanted to touch on this a minute is that we all have our energetic vibration frequency, and you can sense that. So if you ever around somebody where you really feel drawn to them and really connected, and you just feel like, just feel really good around this person, and you enjoy spending time with them, and you just seem to click with them, well, that's because you're on the same vibrational frequency and in alignment with each other. And there's some people the opposite where you're around them, you just don't you just don't feel good around this person. You're not connecting to this person and you just don't want to be around them. You just don't really feel you want to be around them. You just feel kind of, like you need to keep a distance. That's because that they're not in alignment with you vibrationally and frequency. So you're in a different alignment with that person. And it's extremely common, and this happens to everybody and on the planet as you go through life, people will come into your life and exit your life depending on their vibration and frequency, and if you're in alignment to them or not. So a good example would be, say you have friends from, grade school that you've been friends with for years and years or high school, and you've known these people for decades, but it comes to a point in your life where you're like, just don't really have anything in common anymore. I just don't feel the same desire to be around these people like I used to, or, to do things with them. I don't have the connection I used to have with them. And you feel like something's changed between you and these people or this person that you have been friends with for a long time. Well, that's because you're at different alignments and you're no longer in alignment. At one point in your life, you were in alignment with each other and you were on the same frequency and vibration. But as time went on, you guys changed from each other and your vibration and alignment and frequency changed with each other. So because of that different vibration and frequency, you ended up getting out of alignment. And that's really actually quite common. It's very rare, I think, that you would be friends with someone your entire life and it never changes. I think people grow spiritually and we're here to have different spiritual experiences and learn and grow from each other. So it's going to be kind of a constant moving or not moving. Like it's a constant people coming in and out. because they're growing and having their personal experiences and spiritual experiences as well. So because you're growing, different levels, having different experiences, then it's going to influence your alignment. And so it's just natural to fall out of alignment with people. But it's also natural to have people come into your life that are new, that are now in alignment with where you currently are that you weren't before. So you get into a different alignment, then you're going to draw people to you that are the same alignment that you are. So that's really quite interesting. So one of the things about the principles of polarity is we can work on this principle by looking at and changing how we see something. So if you're looking at something from a negative perspective, something happens in your life from a negative and you're seeing it from a negative perspective, or it's something you perceive to be negative. If you turn the way you look at it around and see it as a positive thing, or try to see the positive in the situation, then it will end up then you'll be able to transmute that negative energy and the negative way you're looking at it to a more positive one. And a lot of times things happen in our life that seem devastating at the moment or seem really negative at the moment because we don't see the bigger picture, because we're stuck in the moment, right, with what happened. But there's other things going on around us that our spirit team's helping us with, that God is helping us with, that the universe is helping us with. And we don't see these other things going on. All we see is what directly affected us at that moment. There's things, and maybe something happened to put you on the path to something better coming on. So, say an example is you lost your job and you're devastated because how are you going to pay your bills and how are you going to survive? And you're just, reeling about that, losing your job. But what you don't know is a much better job is coming for you than what you would have had. And that was the universe's way of setting you up on a new path where this better opportunity is coming your way. You just don't see it at the moment. So I think it's really key that when stuff happens to us, negative things or we perceive to be negative, if we see it in a different way, and we twist our thinking around to seeing it in a positive way. Like, well, maybe I don't understand why this happened to me right now. I don't understand the bigger picture, but I'm going to trust in the universe and trust in God that this is happening for my greater good, that this is happening to put me on a better path, to help bring me up in alignment, to help me be in a better place. And if you think that way about it, then lo and behold, that's what will happen. And then you'll be able to see in hindsight down the road, oh, yeah, now I can see why this happened. And I think I can see that in my own life. I can see why things have happened in my life that even at the time I would have considered it to be really a bad thing. And then you're like, "Oh, but now I see why this happened because that incident allowed this to come in and allowed this to happen so that I could move down this path to the next thing, to the next thing." And it's all interconnected, but it's really hard to see that at the moment. So I think a lot of it is just being able to twist your mind and keep it on the positive, even if you don't see it at that moment. And that's where meditation and things like that can come in, is because if you can take your thoughts from that negative place to a more positive place, then that's going to really help you transition through that incident or transition what you're going through into a better place, into a better alignment. So I'm going to leave it there today. In the next video, I'll go over 5, 6, 7. But I wanted to be able to have time to go through these and explain a little bit and have some discussion about it, other just reading the different principles to you. I wanted to take it on a little deeper level. So thank you for joining with me today, and make sure you like and subscribe this video so that it can go out to other people that would be interested in learning about this information. And I hope you have a good evening, good day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.